Perfect. Got it.
All right, Lawrence, go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, the 29th of October. The year is almost over, but there's still a lot of time to do and achieve stuff. It's up to us to make the time. So, as usual, the slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny, not in our destiny, and we will persist until we succeed. I'm just going to give a little information about a call on Monday with Cade Napierski on the Monday morning call. I'll do it now because I don't want to forget afterwards. So Steve will be talking to Cade Napierski, who's one of the directors in the company, and he'll be talking about the supply chain and information about that. And it's very, very worthwhile. So today, what we want to talk about is walking the talk of achieving a milestone, the why and the how. And here we've got Dr. Joe Scalia, who's a chiropractor. And so, Joe, we'd like to grill you a little bit about who you are and what you're doing. So why did you choose chiropractic?
Well, good morning, everybody. I chose chiropractic because I saw a lifestyle that not only was health and wellness focused, but it was one that could provide a lifestyle of flexibility. I had a neighbor who lived across the street from me who was a chiropractor. And he had the luxury, I'm not sure what's going on there.
Sorry about that.
In case, no worries. He had the luxury of being a chiropractor. He was Mr. New York State bodybuilder in 1976. He used to train with Lou Ferrigno, and he was really into
Joe, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Joe.
I am now unmuted. Here I go.
Now you're okay. Sorry.
Okay, so he was a Mr. New York State bodybuilder, and he trained with Lou Ferrigno. And you know, I'd always been I watched the Hulk when I was a kid. I knew who Lou Ferrigno was, and then now I have my neighbor who's a chiropractor, and I see that he's a doctor, and he's taking his wife to work. He's taking his kids to school, and he's also into what I was into, which was the human body. And at that time, I was learning about the fetal pig and learning about biology, and I had an interest in that. And one day I had an injury. I got hurt when I was in 10th grade when I was running cross country, and I went to see him, and he addressed, spinal imbalances and told me about what chiropractic was. And I had an interest in it. And ever since then, I knew I wanted to be in the health and wellness field, but not necessarily dealing with drugs or surgery, but dealing with a way where we can educate people about their bodies and how it works and how to keep it functioning optimally.
So you had a neighbor who inspired you to want to do something that was in line with what you were thinking. So you had an inspiration from a neighbor who was in that field. Is that right?
Correct. He never said, hey, go ahead and do what I do. He just led by example, being who he was. I just loved that who he was being. He was being a dad. He was being a beacon of knowledge. He was being healthy. He was being inspirational. Truth be told, when I told him that I wanted to go into the field of chiropractic, he goes, why would you want to go into that? He goes, become a neurologist, become an orthopedic surgeon. He goes, don't do what I do. I'm like, it's too late, man. I want to be like you.
Dan, you want to go with any question?
Yeah, so obviously he was a big influence in your development and your decision to go into chiropractic. But outside of that, what kind of drew you to chiropractic from the standpoint of practicing chiropractic? Was it that you were going to be able to help people? Was it what was it that really drew you to chiropractic?
Yeah, I was a cross country runner. I was an athlete, spring track, winter track, cross country, straight A student, honor society. Used to work also on the weekends, and went to a school called Binghamton University, the public Ivy of New York State. And I was pre-health, and was doing everything pre-med, pre-health. And, when it came time to do applications, I had a good time in college. I enjoyed myself. I was a late bloomer and I didn't keep my eye on the ball as much academically as I did when I was in high school. But when it came time to start applying for medical schools, I had all the medical school applications on my desk. And I had one chiropractic one, and the medical school ones kind of sat there, and I was procrastinating. I was like, should I fill these out or not? But when I got the chiropractic one, I just filled it out instantaneously, whatever application fee it was, $500-$600. And I went to the school on my own, took out the loans on my own, and just decided this is what I want to be. I want to be in the field of helping people, naturally, without drugs or surgery. And if you look back now and you look at, I believe it's Thomas Edison who said, the doctor of the future will prescribe no drugs, but will educate his patient on the health and maintenance of the human frame and nutrition. Okay. And when I first started practice, 21 years ago, I got to see that. I didn't see it when I became a chiropractor, but as I was becoming a chiropractor, but I saw it after I became a chiropractor. And that really resonated with me. And the word resonate from Latin means risonare, which means you sound off and it sounds back to you. So it resonates and you feel that. That's what I wanted to do. And that's the purpose I wanted to pursue.
So Joe, I have a question for you. Simple question, it's complicated answer. So think about it. Who is Joe Scalia? Who are you?
Well, I've been reinventing myself. And as of Sunday morning, as you saw, I am a triathlete now. I had posted on my Facebook a while back, Papa, practitioner, Porscheophile. I am somebody who now has a newfound, rekindled purpose on helping people achieve their goals from a physiological point of view. I was reading a book called Grit, listening to the book on Audible, to be honest, while I was taking my bike rides. And Angela Duckworth, she spoke on TED, if you haven't had a chance to listen to her, very, very valuable. And she wrote a book called Grit. And I'm fascinated by grit. And grit, as we all know, is the ability to stick through and achieve a goal that you have in your mind. And in the book, she gives an example of people who are bricklayers. And if you ask, 3 bricklayers, one bricklayer will tell you, I have a job laying bricks. The second bricklayer will tell you, I'm building a church. And a third bricklayer will say, I'm building the house of God. So I'm somebody who's now following a purpose and a passion of helping people pursue their physiological perfection, how they're meant to work, how physiologically things are supposed to operate. I'm a facilitator of people, facilitating people get to where they need to go from that point of view. That's what my newest passion is.
Right. That's where the difference is, what you want to do and who you are. You are a facilitator, and because you are a facilitator, you want to help other people. So correct. There's the distinction that I'm trying to make. Who is Joe Scalia? You are a facilitator. You said you're a dad. You're a Porsche enthusiast. Porscheophile. Okay, Porsche cars enthusiast, Porsche car enthusiast. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So it's to be able to understand what makes the person tick, what motivates you. Who are you?
I'm somebody who loves to help people.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty cool. There's at least we know that it's a person that is there's a soft side to this driven person. Mm-hmm. So how well do you know yourself, Joe?
I'm learning every day.
This is a tricky question because look, seriously, you got to answer these things in a way that we can understand. Because, for example, when things are great in life, everything is hunky-dory. And then we come to a challenge and we say, oh, geez. And then the real side of us comes up. Then we really know who we are when we've got challenges, when we've got issues, when we've got curveballs, when things happen. and that's who we are. So I'm asking, so how well do you know yourself?
With each one of those challenges that arises, I get to learn about myself more and more. I'm somebody who's extremely into personal growth, improving my circumstances in every facet of my life. I pride myself on improving myself spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, recreationally on a daily basis. And whenever there's a setback, I try to handle it as gracefully as I can. And I learn from those failures because I think failures are stepping stones to success. I've been knowing more about myself in the past year and a half when I take these really long journeys of endurance exercise where I get to reflect and ponder and do a lot of affirmations and talk to myself and explore how I can get better. And so, and then now, you could do a certain amount on your own, and there's always so much more you could do exponentially with the efforts and with the cooperation and the participation of a team. So I'm a builder. My name is Scalia. My last name is Scalia, which means one who scales, one who climbs. I am somebody who climbs every day. That's who I am.
Good job. So what's the difference between Joe Scalia today and Joe Scalia 5 years ago? 10 years ago?
Well, you can ask anybody that's known me. I mean, listen, we don't change like that overnight, but transformation is like that. You could start off, being a caterpillar, become a butterfly. We see it in nature. Why can't it happen with us? Joe Scalia 5 years ago was 244 pounds, having gout attacks, not being able to walk on a plane to go with an anniversary with my wife to Niagara Falls, limped on there, eating and living recklessly in many areas in life. Joe Scalia 5 years ago was very irritable at times and volatile. Had a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old daughter, 4-year-old son. That's who I was. That's the history of who I was. And now, looking back on that and you know how you could do that. You can just look at pictures and you can capture a moment of what you were feeling during those times. And I'm an improved version of that. And I don't like to look back because you can't do anything about the past. And tomorrow didn't happen yet. It's unborn. We know that most people, the happiest people that we can come in contact with are people who stay present in the present day and the present possibility. Because if you look too forward in the future, you have anxiety. If you look back in the past, you have depression. If you stay focused and present, you have happiness. This is it, and it's perfect. Who I am right now is the possibility of fitness, flexibility, and fortitude. That's who I am.
Excuse me.
You're welcome.
Good job. Good job. Excuse me. Dan, if you have anything, I've got plenty of questions to ask him.
Yeah, so you took the words right out of a word right out of my mouth, which is transformation. And so you're going through this transformation, you're going through this personal growth and reconnecting and reinventing yourself. What has been the biggest trigger in your life to go through this transformation? Because I think we all have to hit a wall at some point where we say to ourselves, something needs to change. And for me personally, I like, my goal in life is to be better today than I was yesterday. Right. And so, through exercise or whatever it may be, we start to contemplate different things in our lives and how we can make our lives better. So for you, what was that initial trigger? You obviously are interested in helping people, but to be able to help people, you need to first help yourself, right? So that you're better, you're more capable and able to help other people. So what was that trigger for you initially, Joe?
Great question. I've been a personal growth student ever since How to Win Friends and Influence People. When I read it when I was 20 years old, I believe Dale Carnegie wrote that book. Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins expresses a big concept. He says people either go away from pain or towards pleasure. It's the principle of a carrot versus the stick. And if I were to ask everybody on the call here, and you answered very quickly, why do you brush your teeth? There will be people that say, I don't want bad breath. I don't want yellow teeth. I don't want my teeth to fall out, and I don't want bleeding gums and gingivitis. Then you'll have another group of people that say, I want fresh breath. I want a bright smile. I want to keep my teeth longer, and I want to have healthy gums. You just said the same thing, but you said it completely different. I have a history of being goes away from pain versus going towards benefit. Why do you make money? Why do you go to work? So I can, so I don't have bills, so I can pay so I don't have debt. You're going away from pain. So I can be financially free. So I can have money, discretionary income. Those are benefits. So when you're talking to somebody, you can identify very quickly, are they someone who goes away from pain or towards pleasure? What I did is I've been going away from pain because, for those who don't know what gout is, hyperuricemia is a genetic disorder of sorts, because you can make too much cholesterol, you can make too much uric acid. And of the people who have hyperuricemia, 10% of those people have gout attacks, where this uric acid crystallizes in the extremities, most of the time in the large joint of your toe. And they used to call it rich man's disease because people used to eat more meats and cheeses and stuff like that, or ate a purine-rich diet. But it was also because they were drinking out of lead cups, and the lead would destroy their kidneys, which would make them not be able to clear out the uric acid as quickly as they could. But it's becoming more prevalent in today's society because of the abundance of food sources that we have that are rich in purines. So people who have a genetic predisposition to that will have a phenotypic or express that because of their kidneys not working as well. So I was going away from my gout attack, because every time the gout attack would happen, I would make a new promise to God. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm not going to eat X, Y, Z. I'm not going to do this. Not like I was abusing my body, but I was 48 pounds heavier than I am. So therefore, it wasn't my ideal expression of where I could be from a physiological point of view. So went away from that. Now, to have fun with it, I started inventing myself, and I don't know if you could see it, but I'm kind of like a little Dwayne Johnson, like a The Rock kind of situation going on over here. And I saw him in a suit, and I saw a picture of him. I said, I want to look like that for my daughter's first communion. And then my wife goes and sees a movie called 365 on Netflix, which is a little risque and stuff like that. So, and then I became Massimo, which was Massa Joe. So I got all dressed up in black and Italian and all that stuff for my wife to have fun. It's just having fun with it, going towards the goal. Women might do this, but they see somebody like J-Lo. Everybody wants to be J-Lo and stuff like that. They get dressed up, they rip off her head, they put their face in there. They say, I want to look like I have J-Lo's body. Or I want to look like this athletic runner. Vision board, right? How you want to see yourself. What moves, touches, and inspires you to go towards that possibility. So your quick question is, the answer to your quick answer is to go away from the pain from the episodes I was having, and go towards the benefit of looking like the way I know I deserve and I should look, and walk the talk, like Lauren says, and look the part. I'm really happy where I am. I'm going to take it even further from an athletic point of view, from a performance point of view, from an aesthetic point of view, not because it's egotistical, it's narcissistic. Oprah Winfrey said it when she was doing her marathons and everything like that. When she was really into good health for a while. I really don't follow Oprah Winfrey, but she said, I believe we owe it to our creator to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And that resonated with me. And she also said, and I learned this from my friend Susie, she said, stop saying one day and make it day one. Boom, switch, on, done. Today's day one. We're going. There's one person saying one thing one time, and it just goes bingo, like you're mind blown. I am now this transformation.
Timing is everything. It's the right time at that moment for you to get that message. So
Absolutely.
What was your biggest challenge? What is your biggest challenge?
Was or is?
What was your biggest challenge? And then I got another sequitur to that.
Fear of success. Fear of not failure, fear, vulnerability. I saw a quick thing pop up over here. Paige said, "No, vulnerable." I didn't get to read it all. Sorry, but I'll look at it in a second. Fear, like crazy thoughts that go in your head, like, What if I get a heart attack while I'm running? What if I, what if an alligator comes out and attacks me while I'm on my bike? I mean, I started riding and biking and on this levee, which is an open way. It's wide enough for a truck to go, but there's water on each sides at times, and there's animals there, but not as many as people think there are. It's not as wild and crazy as I make it out to be. I did see a boar. I saw a herd of deer, and I saw a bobcat, 2 days ago. It was kind of cute and nice. But fear of that, fear of not knowing. I looked out on this concrete berm and I said, wow, I wonder what's on the other side of the concrete berm. What I did is I asked, I said, what's there? They go, oh, you go up to a farm called Bedner's Farms in Boynton, and then it's 12 miles away and you come back. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of telling people I'm going to lose 50 pounds and then not do it. Fear of, that was the fear. What was the biggest, that was the biggest challenge.
Fear of failure.
And fear of success. Fear of success.
Yeah.
What I noticed was that every time I started moving in the right direction, and every time I start, going towards where I wanted to go and maybe hit a milestone, as you mentioned before, like, 244 goes to 230, goes to 220, it would start creeping up again. I have a graph. It's like it started here and it was going, up and down, up and down. As soon as someone say, Joe, you look great. That guy had permission to go off and not do what I was doing. No, you got to stay on focus. So how did I break through that fear is the question she asked. I would just look at it. We all know fear is false evidence appearing real. I would look at the fear and just cognitively say, it doesn't really exist because it's false evidence. Let's break through it. I teach my kids, how do you deal with fear? And my little daughter says, you face it. I mean, she was afraid of roller coasters. She didn't want to go on the roller coaster in Disney World about 4 or 5 years ago. I said, Mia, we're going onto the roller coaster. Joey wants to go on it. And if you'd like to come, you can. Mommy's over here at the hotel. We're going to take an Uber back to Disney and we're going to go on the roller coaster at 11 o'clock at night. And it'll be fun. And she said, and then she got in the car with me. I go, why are you here? She goes, because you taught me to face fear. So,
Joe, you have, on a personal note, I know that you used to have a fear of rejection. That was your biggest issues, as far as I know. I'm talking on a personal level now. How did you overcome that?
Something I'm still working on. I mean, when I went to the last HCA forum, Healthcare Alliance forum, Steve was speaking in the front, and he basically mentioned these different challenges we can have as distributors and brand reps and affiliates, executive leaders, brand representative leaders. He's like, hey, if you have a problem with rejection, read the book, go for no. Turning it, looking at the perspective, and he said each no is worth $3,300, $3,400 in our business. Each no is worth $3,300 or $3,400 in the business. He said like $3,000. So now I have the book out. It's in my private library. I took it out. It's on the counter. Very small, quick read. We've actually met the authors in Boca, and just reorient myself and see that that's where I want to be. I want to be when you're doing something, whether it's training athletically or doing the business, when you have that feeling of fear, that's when you know you're in the right place. That's exactly where you're going to break through to the next level and scale up. If you do not have that fear, it's not courage unless you have fear. So if you do not have that fear, if that little feeling inside is not there, it's not fun. You want that feeling inside and break through it, whatever it is. Face it. Kill it. Demolish it. Go through it. Break through it. Destroy it. Go through. Done. That's it. Next.
Dan, you got one there?
Yeah, fear is or fear of failure, fear of success. All those things are just mindset, and how you think about those things. And I've always been the type of person that likes to think outside the box and get outside of my comfort zone. I find solace in that, actually. Whereas a lot of people, see a lot of fear when they start thinking about getting outside their comfort zone. Whereas I look forward to getting outside of my comfort zone because it helps me grow and it helps me push past those barriers and reach goals that I didn't think were achievable. What has been your biggest difficulty with thinking outside the box and getting outside of your comfort zone?
The biggest difficulty of thinking outside the box and getting out of your comfort zone, it's just coming up with new ways that are manageable. You know, like Lawrence always covers, and we cover in the business. SMART goals: specific, measured, realistic, time sensitive. What's the A? Attainable? What is it? What's the A stand for? I don't know. I forgot. But what is it? Is it attainable?
Attainable.
Attainable. Okay, good. Attainable. Thank you, Jack. So it's like for example, I'll give you one. I mean, I did the triathlon on Sunday. It was a 1/4 mile swim, 13-mile bike, no big deal. And then I ended up running the 5K. I haven't run 5K in a race in over 30 years. And I realized that's my weakest link right now as a triathlete. So I'm okay. Now I've got to look at, how do I become a better runner? Well, I know endurance sports, it's like a layered cake. You have low and slow on the bottom, and then you build your way up on top faster. And then you go to the faster miles and distances. So today I'm saying to myself, it's a problem, right? How do I think outside of the box of what I'm doing? I'm biking. I'm a cyclist. I like to cycle. And I'm a pretty good swimmer. I have the pool in the corner. I like to swim. So now, how do I become a better runner? Well, like, what do I got to do? Go back to my basics: endurance, slow and slow. So today I went out for a run. Instead of running 9.5-minute pace, I ran it at 11.5-minute pace. But I saw my target heart rate. So the quick answer, the answer is set a target that's realistic, achievable, measured, specific, and then adjust. And then adjust the target. Okay, I went a little too slow. I went a little too fast. Next time I'll do this. Envision what you're going to do before you do it when you're outside of that box. Then you're all of a sudden you're in a new box. Now you're in a new box doing a new thing. So pre-planning, not over-analyzing, but pre-planning what your next course of action is going to be is super important when it comes to going on to your next course of action. It's just, things happen twice, once in your mind and once in real life. So that's how I do it.
Joe, thank you. We're at 10:01. Does anybody have any question they'd like to ask? By the way, Joe, very, very fluid, excellent communication, very inspiring, and I think food for thought for everybody. And I appreciate the candid chat. Does anybody have any question they'd like to go ask Joe there?
Let's see what this says here, hon. Where's the time you remember you made a decision to change? I love the word decision, because the word decision, I'm trying to think of the person who wrote it in the book. It may have been Darren Hardy with The Compound Effect, or I forgot which book it was, but regardless of where the word decidere from Latin means to cut away from. Incision is to cut inside. Circumcision is to cut around. Precision is to cut, precisely, with perfection. Decidere means to cut away from the rest. So I have gluten intolerance. It's something that I realized that I've developed. It's one of the big major factors why I was holding on to so much inflammation. Celiac disease, if you want to call it a disease, I just call it a sensitivity. So I have to decide to cut away from gluten. And that's really what you have to do, whatever it is, whether it's negative energy or negative way of being. Something that does not serve you needs to be cut away from you, because anytime you're spending time on that, you're not going closer to your goal. So having a goal that you're deciding that you're going to do, because anything else outside of that goal, as Angela Duckworth says in the book Grit, is actually a distraction, even if it's something positive. If it's something good, but it's not helping you where you want to go, guess what? It's actually not good for you. So cutting away from the everything and going towards your goal, because your overarching goal will determine your action steps throughout the day. If you keep your overarching goal present in your mind, that will keep your activities in line with what your overarching goal is. I recommend the book Grit. I can't recommend enough. It's one of my favorite books that I've ever read. In general, it has to do with parenting, goal setting, You learn why people who go to West Point make it through. Navy SEALs. It's a great book. Have you guys ever read the book? Have you heard of it? The book, Grit, by Angela Duckworth. Yeah, it's a great book.
We
And we
actually,
actually just referenced that a couple weeks ago when we were talking about a completely different topic.
Awesome.
So
thank you.
Joe, you've gone beyond, above and beyond, and you're an inspiration. That's why you're a leader. Or excuse me, that's right. You're inspiration. That's why you're a leader. So, riding your bike at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, not that early.
Insomnia in the dark. Are you crazy?
No insomnia. No.
30
I get plenty of
miles
sleep.
before work. I mean, seriously? But that's what
40.
I mean, 20 what?
It depends. I average about 110 to 140 miles a week on the bike.
Yeah.
It's
that's
goals.
There you go.
I went to your house and back once. That was 50 miles. That was fun. That was an adventure. It was an adventure. I wanted to knock on your door and say, hey, I did it. Now on to the next adventure. It really wasn't about.
That's riding in the city in traffic as opposed to out there in the Klong where you are by yourself. So
I do it all. I do traffic on Sundays. Sundays is great to ride, less riders. Listen, I can't have that's a fear, right? Fear of traffic, fear of alligators, fear of this and that. Got to go beyond it. Now I'm very comfortable with it, but I know where you're going with it. I appreciate the comments, and I really, from the heart, I really appreciate being here. Whoever's listening, and I really enjoy the comments that everyone's making, and I'm glad to be here. And the main point I want to do here, ultimately, my objective is to translate this mental stamina and this endurance into our business, obviously, where you can look at statistics instead of being a heart rate. It could be how many three-way calls you do, or it could be how many prospects you have, or how many subscriptions you've done this month, or how many executive leaders you have, or how many scans, or, that's really where it translates over. And I just wanted to do this work. And as Paige is mentioning here, what can be measured can be improved. That's what the whole scanner program is about. And that goes to your waist, that goes to your insulin, it goes to your sugars, it goes to so many things that you can improve in your life. Just real quickly, because I know we're running out of time here. Resource building. I was a part of the group called the Master Circle when I was in practice, and I still am. I'm not part of the Master Circle yet, but I still have a lot of the affirmations. Resource building is go ahead and grade yourself financially, 0 to 10, emotionally, 0 to 10, spiritually, 0 to 10. And whatever it is, if you're a 4 financially, how do you get to a 5? If you're spiritually at a 6, how do you get to a 7? And if you see how ways you can improve, like we talked about before, you just apply those ways on a daily basis, and lo and behold, 1% improvement every day. In 100 days, you're 100% better.
Joe, you're actually also a landmark instructor. So I remember that when we first met, we talked about doing landmark, and you actually joined landmark, and then you became an instructor. So your journey has always been with some goals in mind, some persistence, some perseverance, dedication, grit, all of these things. And these are things which we have to have being an entrepreneur. If we do not have these qualities as an entrepreneur, go and be an employee. Simple. It's not for you. Go and be an employee. Be told what to do. If you're on the other hand, have these traits, you're a leader, you're an entrepreneur, and you're capable of leading by example. So Joe, everything you've talked about today was straight right in the most apropos theme, which we talk about every day, and you are a walking example of that. So I'm very grateful to you for your time, and everybody else. Thank you. If you've got any other question you want to ask Joe or anything you want to add, it's he's there. Otherwise, if anybody have any question? No,
I don't have any questions, but Joe, I'm getting ready to go ride a bike or something. Like, you've inspired me to do something like I don't normally do. That was amazing. Like that was, I was listening to all of the questions that Lawrence was asking you. I was literally asking myself the same questions. And there's no way right now where I am this second that I would be able to, some of them even answer, some of them answer with confidence. So it was really, really good. Just to get your insight and your positivity and your energy. I mean, I feel all of that, and literally, like, if you, I will be like on the side of the road, probably when I get out of the driveway trying to ride my bike. But with that being said, yes, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Riley, you're a superstar yourself. I mean, I've seen you on the call and heard you, and you're coming into this thing with some really good energy and fantastic skill sets and a lot of support with, you know, your husband and everything. And you couldn't be in better hands with Mike and Lawrence is, you know, obviously the top, and, you know, and Dan and the whole team that we have here is just amazing. And to come back and see people like you of your caliber joining the business just inspires me more and more. And I look forward to helping you out any way I can, try to achieve any goal you want.
Thank you so much.
By the way, Joe is my upline. So many of the people on the call here are all part of your team, Joe. In fact, probably very many of them. So anyway, you're a resource as well. So thank you so much, Joe. Thanks for your time. And
My pleasure.
Keep cycling, man. Keep cycling. Rock
Well,
it.
I gotta do more running than cycling now, because I've got another triathlon I'm doing in less than 3 weeks, which is twice the distance of the one I just did. But it's okay, guys. Just start with the bike ride around the block, because even when you're going slow, you're lapping everybody on the couch.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Awesome.
All right. Dan, thank you so much as
Yeah.
usual. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Joe.
Paige, thanks for
Thank you,
your
Dan.
thanks everybody for your input. Joe, you rocked it. Thank you. God bless you all. And don't forget Monday, listen to the call, because there'll be Cade Napierski, and that's really worthwhile. And I have one other question that I'll leave everybody here on this call with a question. If money was no object, if you didn't have a problem about money, what would you do and why would you do it? Those were going to be some of my questions for you. But anyway, that's for another day. It's for everybody to think about. If money wasn't a problem, didn't have any issue with it, what would you do and why would you do it?
Cross New York State with a bike this week. That's what I would do. Cross New York State with a bicycle. All right. Bye, guys. Great to have
See
you.
everybody. Have a great
Thanks.
weekend.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much.
Thank you.
God bless.
Great call.
Take care. Ciao.
Everyone.
Bye.